Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Panther Presents. Today, Chris and I shall be discussing Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. This would be a spoiler review and rewrite. Always got ideas.
Spoiler, y'all. Spoiler.
Both of us saw it twice.
There's a lot of non-spoilers out there. Yeah. So just FYI, guys.
Yeah. As it says. So if you join us in the chat, we look forward to your comments. Chris, we did a video for this a few months ago. What do you think? What were your expectations? What do you think of the movie?
I thought, as far as the movie itself, I really enjoyed it. The biggest thing for me was the respect they had for Chadwick. They did him justice as far as honoring him. I mean, the cast and crew were dealt a horrible blow. I mean, Ryan Coogler, he already the script was finished. You know what I mean? He was saying like the story that he had for T'Challa and what his envision was for T'Challa. And then the script was finished and then he passes away. So the pressure that they had to go through, like everything from just like saying like them going back and forth was like, should we recast him? That was like the easiest thing. And then I think Ryan Coogler like argued against it and basically saying, no, that's not how we're going to do it. And actually, I wasn't for it at first, but then eventually I was like, all right, I like the fact that he didn't recast him. And I like the fact that I guess they kept the illness in the show. I mean, I said in the show, the movie. But overall, I thought it was a really great film for him. To honor him. As far as overall, it was a great film, but there was a few issues I had with it. More issues I had compared to the first film. I don't know if we should talk about the good stuff. I mean, I guess I should talk about how should we do this? Okay, we're
gonna do the good. Yeah. And then overall, we're gonna do rewrites because like I got my issues. I got solutions for her. So that's what I'm saying. So that's how we'll do.
Oh, you know what, yo? If Angela Bassett does not get nominated for an Oscar, for this,
somebody needs to be slapped.
Yo.
But I hear you. I hear you. Okay, but remember, no MCU movies ever got nominated. Like for actor, like best actor, best anything. Like Robert Downey Jr., he led this whole franchise for like 10 years. He didn't get shit.
No, he was just a good Tony Stark. But as far as like an emotional thing, like no other actor really had to show showing emotion is what gets you nominated. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? Like, yo, think of freaking, was it Heath?
He had to die.
Jake Gyllenhaal. And was it Brokeback Mountain, or which one? One of them got nominated for Brokeback Mountain. I think it was Heath. He barely said anything the entire film, but he cried and got nominated. I think Robert Downey Jr. even made a joke about that in Tropic Thunder or whatnot. It's like. So it was like you show,
what he said was.
When Ben Stiller had that little tear,
it's like. But you never go full retard. We got Wakanda whatever. Shuri was not convincing. Yvonne Joyner was not impressed. But
he wasn't impressed.
But anyway, no, Angela Bassett, killed it. I mean, I was extremely impressed. I mean, the trailer alone, she was the trailers. Like her voice was the only voice we heard in the first trailer. I was like, this movie is going to do her justice. She had a much bigger role. And I thought she was amazing. I thought Shuri. This was Shuri's movie, and it wasn't supposed to be, as you said. This was supposed to be Chadwick's movie, but they made it Shuri's movie because she's the next. And I thought she carried. I thought she carried it well. I thought she actually did a great job of her journey.
Yeah. And I think their emotions were so strong. It was like you could tell some of it had to deal with Chadwick rather than the script.
The script, right? Like they really were feeling that shit. Like so, yeah. So what did you like? What did you like besides Angela Bassett? What did you like about the movie?
Oh man, obviously how beautiful it looked. I also I mean, obviously I'd said the whole Chadwick, uh the whole Arnold Chadwick was great. I I love what they did with Namor. I love the actor himself. I mean, I watched Narcos and I thought he was great in Narcos Mexico because they did a great job as far as capturing the asshole part of Namor. Like you're not supposed to like him at all. However, and he's not. This is what, in my opinion, what you're supposed to have as far as like Namor. This is so comic book accurate. Whereas like he is not a good guy necessarily, but he's all about his people. Um, you know what I mean? So at times he sometimes groups up with bad guys, you know what I mean, in order to get what he wants. And then maybe he will group up with like the Illuminati. You know what I mean? So I like that. I love that they made his people, it was like more culturally, it was more about the culture, just like Ryan Coogler did with Wakanda. You had the same thing with Atlantis, aka, I mean, well, they couldn't use the word Atlantis, but Tocolan is what they call it in this one. And I love that they kind of created like the Mayan Aztec uh aspect of it. You know what I mean? It kept a cultural reference to it. I was like, damn, I'm feeling that. I love it. That's what I love. Michael B. Jordan came back in the limited capacity, but we got him. So love that. And actually the post-credit scene. Now I know a lot of people are like, oh, we should have got two, whatever. I thought for the fact that Chadwick is gone, this was the most appropriate post-credit scene. Like, in my opinion, this one didn't. I mean, I feel like sometimes you don't need a second post-credit. And if you look at the history of two post-credits, usually you got one that was like kind of relevant, and the other ones that's just stupid. Like, think of all the 4 second post-credit scenes. It's just like you got like a thing chasing, like, it's just like dumb, right? This one was special and it was more to the heart. Hell, even the beginning of the Marvel Studios thing where it just shows Chadwick or whatnot, like especially watching the second time around, I was like, damn. I was like, you know what I mean? So that was very strong. What else did I love? Yeah, Winston Duke. Him as him coming back. As leader of the Jabaris. What's his name again?
M'Baku. As M'Baku.
M'Baku. Yeah. So I wanted more of him. I'll talk about more about the critique, when I critique. But overall, anytime he was on the scene, shown on the screen, I thought he was great. And I like the personality of Riri Williams, because this is like when I was thinking about like how Riri Williams was supposed to be portrayed, I didn't know how they were going to do her. And this one, I thought, as far as personality goes, that's her. That's like, you know what I mean? So yeah. The acting overall was good. Was really good. Very strong from everybody. From Lupita. In my opinion, I thought Lupita's character in the first film was kind of lacking. With her in this one, I thought it was fantastic. You know what I mean? Oh, and the music. I thought the music, the way they interlaid the music, even when Shuri is taken down to Colin, and the music kind of interlaced with her seeing the city. Beautiful. Yeah. So yeah. That's there's a there was a lot to love about this film overall. But yeah.
So for me, I agree. So Shuri defeated Namor too easily. I disagree. That fight was pretty hard. I mean, I would say it was more.
We're doing critiques.
No. I'm just reading the comments. I'm just reading the comments. Because what happened to Doom? I don't know. I mean, people said that, but I don't know. We'll get that into critiques. My issue with that. This was a perfect sequel to Black Panther, because Ryan Coogler did both. Like, he had a vision and he kept the vision going. Like, I liked how they tied it specifically back to Killmonger, even before you knew he was coming back. I like the fact that, the Queen was like, I have nothing. Like I have nothing because of you. Like when she was breaking it down and she was like, he took our country. You know what I'm saying? Like he destroyed the heart-shaped herb. Like it's all your fault. Like they remember the repercussions of Killmonger and the impact that he had on the nation. I thought that only a director or writer doing both can do that to make sure that it's connected, right? And I thought that was awesome. So I watched a review, the guy who says it's just my opinion, his channel, and it was a non-spoiler review, and he walked out like mad as fuck. And so he couldn't explain why, because he got an advanced screening, so he had to do like a completely non-spoiler review, but he was like emotionally mad at this movie. And he was like, why would you do this? Like, why would you do this? And like, he couldn't explain what he meant by that. So I was like, I'm watching it like, what would make him this mad? And I was like, Angela Bassett dying. Like, I'm sure that's what he was like. Why would you do that? Like, why would you do this to this film? And it's necessary. It's necessary. Like Shuri is the next superhero, and superheroes don't have parents. Like, that's not how that works. Like, every superhero's parents are often murdered. Often murdered, like, and that drives them to be who they are. So think about it. T'Challa didn't suit up until his father was murdered. I mean, he was already Black Panther, but he didn't put on the suit, and his whole motivation was, I'm going to kill the guy that killed my dad. Bam. Shuri's like, I'm going to kill the guy that killed my mom. Like, you go back to Batman, both his parents are dead. That's what they do. Like, she was not going to make it out this movie. Like either way. So, but they didn't show that. Like, you didn't see it coming. And I thought that was awesome. And then their respect for her, and like the funerals were awesome. I like the fact that both T'Challa and the Queen got a funeral. I like that. That will go to my critique of the original Black Panther. And once we get, because I think that would have connected it better. That was one of my major critiques when I first started doing this channel. And I was I was on an emotional journey, and I believed it. Like, I was like, all right. And I watched it 2 times again, over 2.5 hour movie, and I didn't feel it. Like, both times I was like, this movie is going somewhere. I thought the humor was appropriate. It wasn't like Love and Thunder. Like, there was jokes where there needed to be jokes, and they made it funny. I thought the humor was well sprinkled into the movie. Yeah. And so I think yeah. What else? I can, to be unique to you of what I loved about it. I didn't know anything about Riri Williams or Ironheart. I have no fucking clue who she is. So to see her introduced, I thought her introduction was fine for what it needed to be. I thought Namor's introduction to his people was fine for what it needed to be. Like, they went back to the origin, but it tied to the present. And like, but it still kept the story going. Like, I didn't feel like there was a whole movie inside of another movie. Like, so I like both of those. When I think about Civil War and how Black Panther and Spider-Man were introduced, like, they were dropped into this movie. Like, you should already know who Spider-Man is, but let's get this going. So Riri was kind of like Peter Parker, and it was Peter Parker. It was, we need help. I'm going to go get the high school kid, but she happens to be in college. She's in her dorm room. You know, what makes you? That'd be a critique. So I'll get to that when we get to critiques and rewrite. But I felt that Shuri's making of the new heart-shaped herb was basically Iron Man 2. When Tony was making the new element. And kind of, and so I saw that. To me, I felt like they were kind of inspired. They wanted her to be Tony like. So I saw that. The way they redid the entry into Wakanda, that when Okoye was flying the Queen back into, yeah, right. And it was like, I saw the water. I'm like, they're doing too much with the water. They're doing too much with the water. Like, but they were trying to get Namor's thing.
It's better than just flying right into a mountain.
Also true.
It's better than just flying. Yeah.
I was like, that was the first move. So I'm like, you forgot that you're supposed to fly into a mountain. The mountain's supposed to disappear. Yeah. But they're like, this is a water movie, right? So we got to hype up the water. But
and not only that, now everybody knows how to get to Wakanda after letting that colonizer in there. So now they're like, oh, we got to change it. So they're like,
well,
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they switched.
they've been an open nation, and that's a whole other thing. Like we get to that, but I like the beats. How even as they were talking about T'Challa's death, and like when T'Chako's death was being talked about, like he was sitting up there in the chair in the ship. When they're talking about, T'Challa's death, mom is sitting there in the chair. So clearly Ryan was like, there's beats. Like we're kind of like doing the same story. Just people going through different ways, but it's almost like Black Panther. So I thought I like the callbacks to that. And the fight, I thought the fight was awesome. Like Namor. So I watched another review to say Namor's motivation didn't make a lot of sense. I'll give you that, but the movie needed to happen. And that their technology was on par somehow with the Wakandans. Like they were whooping the Wakanda's ass, especially with those water bombs. Like they were getting beat up pretty good. So like, I mean, I thought it was a fair fight.
Right.
Seeing Killmonger come back was awesome. I was wondering how they were gonna do it. It made me.
Oh, did you? You knew he was coming back. You knew he was coming back.
No, I mean, well, people were talking about it. Like Stephanie was like, they should bring Killmonger back, and I was like, all right. I was like, well, how would they do it? And I was like, well, he's probably gonna be some type of spirit if he does come back. So it was in play. It made sense, but my problem was. Anyway, so I liked it. I like the motivation. I like that she even her suit looked more like Killmonger's than it did T'Challa's. Like I like that. I like how her hair was more like Killmonger's. I like she was like he had a purpose. Like he knew how to get things done, and she kind of went that direction. I thought that was cool. I'm definitely probably gonna see at least 2 more times in the theater. And looking forward to it as I take other people who want to get into it. Yeah, Ross was good to see Ross back was good. And they still got the banter. And we talk about that in the critiques that kind of get on my nerves. But the fact that he was back was there. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get. So what got you? What got you? What would you like to fix?
All right. First, let me apologize now. It's raining really bad over here. So if my internet is like, if I'm really laggy, which right now it appears that on your end, but it's probably on my end. So if I appear really laggy, it's because there's rain. I apologize. All right. So you might hear me go like, I swear I don't have the hiccups. Okay. Don't have the hiccups. So sorry. There's a lot of rain here. Okay. That's what happens when you go live. Sorry. But all right. So critiques. This movie was long, right? And the only reason why I felt that it was long was because of something you just said at the very end, was because of Ross and his ex-wife Val Fontaine. I understand that they are trying to set up the future of the MCU, but the problem is what happened in this movie was it took me out of certain like moods I was in. Literally, I'm watching Queen Rwanda die, and then watching her go like, and then the funeral for her, and it puts you in this somber state. And then you got literally Shuri talking to M'Baku about like getting advice and whatnot, and it goes right to them to Agent Ross and Val in the house, and I was just like, well, way to fuck up a beat, like, you know what I mean? So I gotta be honest, I know what they're trying to do, but I didn't need that. I didn't need anything with those guys. I mean, if Ross wants to pop up at a funeral, right? But speaking of which, I get it. It's like a Wakandan funeral or whatnot, and it's special to them. But I would expect, like, with something with T'Challa, somebody, or at least Bucky. I thought like maybe Bucky.
Exactly.
The one that he saved, like he forgave.
Minimum.
You didn't even need Sam Wilson. I mean, I to be honest, all the Avengers that are still alive should have been there, in my opinion. Hulk, everybody. Yeah. But fine. Bucky should have been
minimum.
White Wolf.
He's the
so
White Wolf.
I was like about that. Like, come on, dude, really?
Mad.
So I was like, come on, dude. Like, so it's like, you ain't that shut off. Not anymore. Right?
Not anymore.
So I felt like they missed an opportunity there, and instead gave us stuff for Agent Ross. And okay. And my other critique, and speaking of needless scenes. I love what they're doing with Riri, but again,
hold, wait. I want to get back to the funeral. I want to do the funeral. I
okay.
got a whole thing. I got a whole thing about the funeral. Like I was mad as fuck because
both of them or which one?
No.
Well, I guess what's T'Challa's.
T'Challa. Let's start with T'Challa's, right? So even in our pre-video, we both said we're like the Avengers need to be there. Like that should not even be a question. Like Wakanda was
y'all just saved the world. Y'all saved the freaking world.
The universe. They saved the universe twice. Like Wakanda was the center of Infinity War. It was the center of Endgame. And Ryan was like, no, like this is my Black Panther movie, and we're gonna keep it Wakanda. I promise you it was him. And he made $1 billion. So I mean, I'm sure Kevin was like, it's cool.
No, but he had Bucky in the post-credit. He put Bucky in the post-credit scene. So it's not like he's that far. And he put Agent Ross and so it's not like they're just not trying to put white people in it. You clearly put white people in it. You could have put him in Africa, for God's sake.
Dude, they stuck the Adora Milaje in Falcon Winter Soldier. So I'm like, oh, he's coming. He's coming to this funeral because they're connected, right? Yes. So I'm like, minimum.
It's only right. Yep.
Minimum.
Oh, Sam Wilson got a suit from Wakanda, like minimum. It was specially made by the king himself. Well, not him, but like I guess pay your respect, Captain America. Pay your respect.
New Captain America should have been there. Bucky should have been there. Minimum. Wong is in every damn thing for some reason. He should have been there.
I know, right?
I mean, like
he could have been there in a second.
He could have been there. I was like, but back up. So
you know what they're going to do. Oh, okay. No, what I was going to say, what they're going to do is in the new Captain America movie, one of the guards is going to be there for Wakanda. Then we're like, oh, we missed you. Like they're going like, oh, we missed you at T'Challa's funeral. It's like, yeah, I was caught up on a lead or something. It's going to be some like Captain Marvel shit. Like I was busy. I was busy as this guy. Like, oh, come on. Like the dude got you a new arm. He saved.
Disrespect.
Yeah. They'll come up with a reason. They're going to come up with a reason why he wasn't there, and it's going to be bullshit.
Like Bucky. Anyway, but my problem with this funeral really goes back to Black Panther. My first video, I said T'Chaka should have had a funeral. That movie should have started with T'Chaka's funeral.
Right.
Then his son takes the throne. We see how the ritual. So when they do it again, now the part 2 is starting with T'Challa's funeral. And we know how this goes because we've been there before. Also, part 1 should have ended with Killmonger getting put into the ocean, like he said. Put me in the ocean with my ancestors. That should have happened. So they honored him, right? And then remember, T'Challa was the one that heard that, not Shuri. So he tells her, why are we doing this for this man who took our country, da 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 da. He was a prince of Wakanda. Like he explains to her that he's still a member of us. And father comes home. Sterling K. Brown's character, his body comes home. But that's how they end Black Panther. So when Black Panther 2 starts, now we're at T'Challa's funeral. We know how the process goes, and they're honoring him the way they honored the father. And then like I said, a minimum, Agent Ross should have been there. There's no excuse for Agent Ross not to be there. There's none. Like he's in the fucking movie. Like he should have.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could at least made an excuse and say, I still think it's an excuse, but because I know when they were filming this, COVID was big, so you could have said originally, oh, we couldn't get Sebastian Stan because of COVID protocols, but like you said, Agent Ross was in the movie, so unless it was, I mean, granted, we never did because technically we didn't see him in Wakanda, but hell, did they really film it? Maybe they did film it in several different places, but like,
well, I'm sure they got filmed in Atlanta. Like a lot of that stuff got filmed on Tyler Perry's lot. So I'm pretty sure that got filmed legit like Atlanta. So I'm like, one of them should have showed up, but Agent Ross being in but not at the funeral and not at either one of those funerals is disrespect. It's just disrespect. It seems like the funeral was rushed. It was rushed, and because they didn't put the U.S. president should have been there. The representative of France should have been there. The people who 1 year later is going to turn on Wakanda, you put them there. So there's some stakes in that conversation when they're like, I thought we were friends. I thought we were allies. Now you're sending your special forces out to come after our locations, right? Like we know who these people are when they say things like the president's considering military action against Wakanda. Without any of that, the funeral was unnecessary. They could have started this movie 1 year later and that's it. It did nothing. I mean, but it didn't push the story forward. The story, it did not get pushed forward. That was just for us so we could appreciate Chadwick Boseman. But story-wise, nah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what was the point? What was the point? Hi, hey, Kim, thanks for stopping by. It seems like the funeral was rushed. Yes, but again, but Ryan was trying to achieve something, and they spent a lot more time on his funeral and his mom's funeral, much more than anyone else. They didn't even Dad, Killmonger, Uncle didn't get shit. So let's remember that. So they actually spent quite a bit of time on these two funerals compared to other.
You know what? Didn't Chadwick even say? Didn't even Chadwick even say it's like you didn't like when it talk about his uncle when to his boss, like we didn't even bring him back to get a proper burial. Even he was like, damn, we ain't burying nobody. Chadwick told us this a while back.
But even Shuri was like when they thought he was dead. We did same thing for Baba. We didn't even get to bury him. Like that was a constant thing, like in Black Panther. Like, and I'm like, but you had an opportunity. But anyway, funeral missed opportunity. Both of them missed opportunities to tie the MCU together. To remember also why he died. He should have succumbed to wounds that he got during Endgame. It's not that hard to think that with all that fighting and stuff, like they didn't know.
Now that one I pushed back on only because I heard the explanation on that, because that was, I think, apparently that was the original take. They were going to go that route in the sense of him getting a battle wound or whatnot. But according to at least like the Marvel executives, they were like, no, we want to make him like real to the actor himself or whatnot. So they purposely put the real life stuff that was going on with it to kind of connect it. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, it's just because here's the deal. Because if I kind of went back and forth on that one too. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, damn, like, yeah, it would make sense to have him dying of that. But then at the same time, I was just like, okay, not only would you kind of say that T'Challa is Chadwick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe it just also shows that these guys are mortal, you know what I mean, as well. So I don't.
Well, they never gave a reason.
I don't know.
They never gave a reason. He just died. They never gave no reason. So we don't know what the fuck he died of.
I gotta be honest, yo. You know what? Remember when Chadwick died though? They said it was an illness. It took us a while to even figure out what he. I just know he has cancer. I don't even know what type of cancer he had. I just know
colon.
Was it colon? Okay.
Cancer.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they wanted to do that, give me a something. Give me like the king of whatever died of something, and just move on. But to be like, we don't know, he just dropped dead. I'm like, that's not okay. Like that irritated me.
Yeah.
Kim, this is what I do.
Kim said, what was Kim saying?
Kim said stop rewriting stuff. I was like, nah.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. Anyway.
Right. So yeah. So again,
reread
the whole thing with Ross and Fontaine.
Yeah.
Didn't need it. Y'all could put that in a Disney Plus special if you want to talk about. We've seen her enough times. We know that she's gonna be the Amanda Waller. Okay, we get it, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, big reveal that they were married. I was shocked, but I also didn't care. You didn't need that in this film. Not in this film, right?
Gotcha.
And then I love what they did with Riri. I mean, I love the fact that who they have for Riri, I should say. After watching this movie, because I went into this thinking like, okay, this is what I thought they were going to do with Riri. I thought that if you remember to the end of the first Black Panther, when T'Challa and Shuri went back to Oakland, and they went and said, we're going to create a community youth thing for the Science Center.
Yes.
I
Yes.
thought that was the connection to Riri, even though
Yes.
yes, Riri is actually technically from Chicago, but I don't know, maybe they just rewrite her to be from Oakland or something, right? I didn't know. I thought that's the route they're going to take it in the
Yeah.
sense of like they need her, like she's like this prize student or whatnot.
Yep.
But they didn't even do that, and at the end of it, she couldn't even take the suit back. So at the end of the movie, I was thinking, Riri shouldn't have been in this film.
Yeah.
Riri should not have been in this film. I, I, I
That's a good
you
point.
did, you could have easily. You're doing a TV show with her. You could easily do like 1 or 2 episodes to kind of have us know who she is. I didn't even like the whole backstory of why she even was really. I don't know. I mean, I get she did the whole Stark Tech thing, but I don't know. I still feel like if you want to even talk to the fact that she's taking Stark Tech, why are you rushing through the whole fact of how she even got the plans and whatnot? I mean, it's just if you know the story of Riri Williams, I know obviously Tony Stark is dead, but and I guess we talked about this during rewrites or whatnot. There's other ways you could have done it. And I felt like this was wasted. Oh, you want to do it now? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
man, I just rewrote the whole funeral.
yeah, okay. Well, true. Okay. I didn't know.
Please.
Okay. So for Riri Williams, what they should have done, in my honest opinion, if you're going to put her in the film,
Yeah.
right, is like literally say like, hey, she looked up to Tony Stark. She didn't, maybe because this is the way Riri Williams is. She would be like, yo, I saw this really rich white guy, and I'm like, why the hell can I do the same thing? You know what I mean? Like he got an MIT at the age of what he said, like age of like 17, 18 or whatnot. I did at the age of 16 or something. Could have done something like that, right? And then just been fascinated of it. And just through the Wakandan Science Technology Center in Oakland, just have her like work on her craft, and then maybe Shuri like needs help creating the heart her herb, and she's like, damn, it's like no one else as smart as me. Who do I can get? She's like, there's just one kid in Oakland I know, and then maybe you picked her up. That's what they should have done instead of this whole like she created this thing that detects vibranium, and CIA stole it apparently. So
But they
I'm
didn't
like,
protect her or hire her to be like, so no other nation can get a hold of her since she's the only one that can figure this shit out. Stop it.
Or like,
Stop it.
something. I mean, I felt like that was their reason of having Namor to become the enemy was through Riri. But there's a lot of stuff you could have done with Namor, making him. If you know anything about Namor in the comics, there's a bunch of reasons why he wars with surface dwellers and Wakanda. He didn't need Riri for that, So I felt like it was a waste and and like I said, as far as trimming the timing down, that would have trimmed another 10, 15 minutes or whatnot. I mean, I loved her personality. I will say this. The good thing about having Riri was it did allow Shuri to, with her emotional journey, to have her finally be like the big sister, to be a big sister moment. So I did like those moments. But overall, it didn't really do anything for the plot overall. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, luckily she kept her suit there in Wakanda, because in the show, I don't want to see that. That her suit needs to look different from that. That I thought I was watching Beetleborgs. And anybody who watched early 2000s Fox Kids shows know exactly what I'm talking about. It was like a revamped version of Power Rangers or whatnot. That's what that shit looked like. I'm like, bruh. I'm like, why is that? I was like, am I watching
on that suit, bro? Everybody shitting on that suit.
Yo, but you know what though? She left in Wakanda, so that's good, right? Sure,
that's
right.
right.
You can't take
but then she has to start all over again.
Thank goodness.
Yo,
but do better.
I totally thought the same thing. They were going to connect it to the whole outreach centers, right? But it was going to start in Oakland, and they were going to do it like, and Shuri was going to be the head of S&T engagement, right? She and Riri could already have a mentee-mentor relationship when the movie starts, because that's her prize pupil, because she did so well with the outreach centers, and that tied it all together, right? Mm-hmm. So when she needs some help with the heart-shaped herb and that kind of stuff, she brings her prize pupil to kind of work that thing out. They could have did that. With the I didn't even think about the fact that I was like, if you're keeping the suit, like, well, who the fuck is she? She just a teenager going back to college. Would mean she has to start all over again. I'm like, what did she accomplish? Like, what did she accomplish?
But she really didn't, because if you remember the beginning of the film, when like just like, oh, is that thing fly? She said, yeah, there was she said there was a YouTube channel created off
dedicated
of
to
the
me.
sightings of me. Like kind of reminiscent of like Peter Parker and
Spider-Man,
when Tony Stark was like, this is you,
Spider-Man.
you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You know, like they could have gone a different direction with that. You know what I mean?
They basically bit off Spider-Man. That's the first time they bit off Spider-Man. They bit off Spider-Man again with Shuri's I want to kill the person that killed my mom, because that was Spider-Man 3. Like the whole like it's same thing too when Green Goblin threw the fucking bomb and killed Aunt May, and then fucking Spider-Man's like, I'm beating this fucker to death. But in the end, he's like, I'm better than that. I'm better than that.
You know what? No,
like,
actually, well, they bit off a lot of just superhero movies in general. Just let's be real. Like everything from like let's be real. When Thor's mother died, that whole thing with that whole situation.
He killed that alien though. I see your point, but he killed that alien.
I'm just getting started with this stuff. So even in when they did Gotham or whatnot, and Bruce Wayne found the killer who killed his parents, that whole thing, and him kind of going back with the whole like, should I kill the guy who killed both my parents?
I didn't know that.
That like, come on, man. Like it is, dude.
We've done
Marvel and DC has always do this whole like, they're the reason why I'm an orphan and whatnot. You know what I mean? And it's.
But so we got Fontaine was annoying, yes, and unnecessary, unless somehow Ross is a part of the Thunderbolts, and I don't know, maybe he is.
He's going to be a Secret Invasion. He is. They confirmed that Sheen is going to be part in Secret Invasion. You see him in the trailer, like he's reporting to Samuel Jackson, like he's trying to be covert, like he's putting on a hat.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm saying, but that ain't got nothing to do. Like I said, he was unnecessary in this movie. I mean, he's not unnecessary. Mm-hmm. She's unnecessary. Like if he would have did what he did before, was be like to be there for Wakanda. Like he could have been fine. Like you still could have did him like in Wakanda without her. That's what I'm saying. Like she stretched it out.
Yeah, I know they're trying to make her like this, like the Nick Fury in the sense of like she appears in a bunch of stuff, but at least with Nick Fury is because he's recruiting. There was no one in this film. I'm trying to think of, I don't know, maybe one of the Dorsal
Agent Carter. Where the fuck is she at? At this point, she's already recruited Agent Carter from Falcon Winter Soldier, remember?
Yeah. Oh, you're saying she would, okay.
I'm saying like, and you got American Agent or Agent America. That
US agent.
US agent. Yeah. These are people she should already have on the CIA roster, and I'm like, none of that happened. He had incurable illness, yeah, but I'm like, they should have said something. Like, I mean, cancer, as many stages is incurable. They could have said it. I mean, they could have just established it, but they made it all mysterious, and I'm like, what the fuck? How did Namor even know about Riri's machine? So the machine was in the water. How did he know that she was the scientist? Makes no damn sense. Like how he connected her to the machine itself, that don't make any sense. But it was in the water when he touched it, and then he picked it up, carried it to his Atlantis, and then carried it to Wakanda, and was like, go find the Americans. It must have been the Americans that built this thing. And somehow Agent Ross was the one who knew exactly who it was. Now that's where I'm like,
here's the other problem too. Even if, okay, fine. Let's just say they did establish how he finds out about the scientists, right? What makes you think you kill that scientist that the plans aren't everywhere already now? Like is that how that works? Is it like you think when Steve Jobs created the iPhone, like if he just died, all of a sudden we're like, oh damn, we're fucked. Like that's not how that works.
What about the laptop? What about the laptop?
Yeah.
I mean, also, she should have made multiple machines. Like, if this works, the CIA wants 10, 15 of them, so they can scout the entire world of oceans, not just one damn machine that's gonna go from one little place to another. Like, that doesn't make sense. They would have mass produced that damn thing.
Yeah.
If it worked,
to be honest, I think that's probably how she got hacked, because she just kept that shit in the garage. You know what I mean? So
I was like, let's not put too much effort into it, because they did not. Like I was like, they did not. I also them keeping the suit doesn't make sense. It's not like that's a part of Shuri's deal with Namor. The suit has nothing to do with detecting vibranium. So why did they keep the suit in the first place?
I think. I mean, they didn't say it, but I feel like they should have said it. I feel like that suit was made by them. It was vibranium. They were like, yeah, we need to get that suit back, right? If this would have happened before what they gave to Sam Wilson, they would probably be like, yeah, we want to need that suit back too. But I think they realize having that vibranium out there now is like, oh shit, this is bad. You see what I'm saying?
Besides for the new Captain America and Bucky.
Well, that was before this though. That was before the French and whatnot was coming for their shit, and this underwater like these underwater people came after them.
But to your point, are they going to go back and get Bucky's arm? Are they going to go back and get Bucky's arm?
You know what? That'll be in the movie. That will be. You know what? They need to put that in the movie. If in the next Captain America movie, they come back for their shit. They're like, "Give me your suit. Give me those wings." And it said, "You know what? We'll take this arm too."
Where's Bucky's arm? He's like, "Damn it! He only got one shit." He's like, "Only got one."
Yeah. They do that little cold thing to his arm and it falls off. And then as they're walking away, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna need that shield too." Like,
oh.
The fuck? I was like, oh, that shield.
We need the shield too, bitch. You know what? Killmonger. I'm happy they brought him back. I'm upset with the version that they gave of him because that's not the Killmonger that died. That's the Killmonger that Shuri remembers. But that's not the one that T'Challa killed because the one that T'Challa killed was redeemed. This dude was like, I just wanted to see the sky of Wakanda because I grew up poor in Oakland and I just wanted to see the beautiful Wakanda before I die. And I'm like, that's a whole different dude. So I'm like, it made me start to question, like, is the ancestral plane even real? Or is it what you believe? Is it your subconscious? Because, like, again, I can understand her.
I think that's what it is.
I can understand her creating a version of Killmonger in that way because that's how she saw him last time she saw him.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it is, like the latter, which is why if you think of Killmonger seeing his dad, that version of his dad who was crying like, this is what I created and whatnot. That wasn't the one that was stabbed by his own brother. Like he was like, yeah, he was still like defiant to his own brother, basically saying like no, like vibranium weapons. And then he was a different type of guy when Killmonger. So yeah, I think that was how you kind of remembered him. You know what I mean? I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure that's what. But so it was a construct. I think it was a construct.
But then that takes away the significance of T'Challa arguing and chastising his dad because he made it seem like he was talking to his dad and was like, I can't believe you did this shit. And now I got to go fix it. And like that seemed real. Like his interaction seemed real. Like this with the inconsistency.
But you notice too, his father never gave him any new information that T'Challa didn't already know already, though.
I see. All right.
I think it's the whole Santa Claus thing. It's like, ooh, should we tell the kids about Santa Claus? Like, I see your point. I think that's what. Yeah.
And then she sees her mom, and she's not even in the transformation process. Like again, is she actually seeing her mama, or is she just talking to herself? I mean, it was a cool moment. But she was talking to herself. See, and that's another clue that it's more than your head. You see what I'm saying? All right.
Yeah.
Why didn't Shuri want to tell anyone that she saw Killmonger when she took her own serum?
I think that's kind of obvious. I mean, can you imagine? Like they will probably try to take the Black Panther power away from her. Like, oh, you saw Killmonger? Oh, hell no! Oh, we have this again.
That came for you. You asked for the mama, and you got Killmonger. It's like,
yeah. You thought about vengeance? Oh hell no! We stripped that from you. He's like, said Tobacco would be a better Black Panther than you right now. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I was thinking about that, and then I was like, if she saw Killmonger, she could have told them to be like, oh, what did he help her do? Like, I like the idea that he gave her the motivation to be like, you gotta seek vengeance, right? I did like the idea, but it also, I was thinking, I didn't like the fact that it was all about Mama. Like T'Chaka, like King T'Chaka, there was no sense of I miss Baba. Like that actor is still alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, unlike T'Challa, who's dead, and I get that. I would have wanted her at least to see her dad when she was in that moment of show him who you are, who we are. Like, it would have been nice if both of the parents were there to acknowledge that your daddy died. Like you acting like, oh, my brother died, that's all I got. I'm like, daddy died too. And I'm like, you should give a little bit of a fuck, just a little bit. and then be like, I want mama and daddy to be there. That's gonna be the last time. That's I don't know. I felt like it would have been something. I mean, I understand Sterling K. Brown because she don't know Sterling K. Brown. So if it's her own imagination, she can't see him. But him being there would have shown it was a real place. Not talk to him, but be there when she's talking to her mama, just to be like, I got family.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just goes to like who you were like kind of the closest to mentally. You know what I mean?
All
so
right.
and again, perfect example. I mean, Killmonger. I mean, if you think about when he went through it, he wasn't even in like the astral. He wasn't even looking at the trees of the Panthers because he doesn't know that place. So how is he going to dream of a place he's never been?
Also true.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's like all he knew of like the best moments of his life, or at least he thought in his life, was in that apartment room
with his dad.
You know? Yeah. So
anyway,
but to your point though, another big critique I have. And it's going to have to go with a rewrite too. I get that 3D printing is a thing, but you telling me, and I get it got vibranium that they're using to create the heart-shaped herb, but bruh, you drink this shit. So I thought that was kind of cheap. There was better way in the rewrite. If you're telling me you found that you found this underwater thing, that could have been a perfect thing where they're like, we found this thing, and maybe, I don't know, maybe not Namor necessarily give them a plant that they thought was destroyed by Killmonger, but be like, here's a plant, bam, here you go. Or maybe they find, like, I don't know, maybe Lupita's character finds it and grabs it. You know what I mean? And then they could start harvesting it. The 3D printer thing and using the whole technology thing, it kind of, in my opinion, it kind of cheapens
what it is.
The lore.
The lore.
Kind of, exactly. Yeah, you're just saying, oh, you say do anything with the 3D printing. I can understand if you did that in the beginning with trying to save his life. That one, fine, right? And then the fact that it failed. But the fact that I thought they were going to go to a different direction, and maybe they find it in Atlantis, or I'm sorry, you can't call it Atlantis. I'm sorry, Tucola, I think is So, yeah,
okay. I see your point, because basically, like, once we figured out that, like, it's just vibranium infused plants. That's all it is. I mean, really. So you're drinking.
You can 3D print a plant, though. I guess maybe use real plants and try to fuse it. I don't know.
But the vibranium. But even when they showed the origin of Namor's people, it was once again vibranium infused underwater plants. But it's still vibranium infused plants, right? So liquefy vibranium and just drink that shit. Like you, to your point, they could Okoye could have found a plant, to your point, when she was shaming Shuri. Shuri could have found the plant. Because if he's showing, why would you show your enemy everything about you? Why would you show them the city? Why would you show them where your power comes from? That's stupid as fuck. If I think I'm going to go to war with you and murder you at some point, but Namor is showing her all of this, and he would have been like, look, the plant, it still grows like abundantly, and and she grabs a couple before she leaves.
Yeah.
That would have been something, and somehow she don't turn into a water person. Also, I thought they were going to get together. I really thought, I thought they were going to be like, hey, you know what? We should get married. I thought. I'm happy they didn't, but I thought it.
I thought they were too, especially if you know Namor. Namor is kind of a womanizer. So I definitely thought that was going to be a huge possibility.
I was
like, but like you said, I'm glad he didn't. They didn't go that route. That don't mean he won't try in the future, though. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
So that's the other thing. I was happy they didn't kill him. Like I thought he was going to be like a one and done. So I'm happy that they're.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You thought he was going to be a one and done?
Oh, I did know, because Killmonger was a very famous character. He dead as fuck. They kept it moving.
He's only famous to the Wakandans, and that's it. Like, even when they announced that he was going to be the villain to Black Panther, I was like, no, it needs to be Claw. Like, maybe you can kind of have him as a side bad guy, but sometimes Killmonger works for Claw, right? You don't. I was perplexed. I was like, really? But Michael B. Jordan killed it so much, like as a character, I was like, oh shit, like they made Killmonger like likable, like, which is not what you really get in the comics. Namor, though, is in every different facet of Marvel Comics still. So that's why when they did announce Namor, I'm like, oh, he's here in the universe. You know what I mean? Killmonger, I can see how he starts in Wakanda and ends in Wakanda. I can see that. You know what I mean? However, he was so likable that like you were like, oh, I want more. You know what I mean? So Namor, nah, man.
So Shuri seems.
But to that point though, I felt like it was two things. You can probably see in the background. I got my man Goku here. This Wakanda, yo, that's what's up. Wakanda forever. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe someone knows more about the Mayan, Aztec tradition or whatnot. That's the thing. If it's not, bruh, y'all should have changed that. Like y'all could have done anything. I thought every time they did it, I thought they were going to do a Kamehameha wave. I was like, the whole time I was thinking Dragon Ball Z. Any anime lover that watches this movie is going to be thinking like every time they did it, I kept ducking like, oh,
I can only relate to Street Fighter 2. I was gonna be like, I was like, oh, is that how they doing it? Like, I thought, okay, this is what's up. This is what's up.
And do you think, personal opinion?
This is all personal opinion.
I felt like they just brushed over the line of like, say, oh yeah, I got the wing feet because I'm a mutant and blah blah, and he just kept going.
Yeah,
there should. Why didn't I felt like
stop?
Sure, he should have at least stopped him.
What's a mutant? What's a mutant?
Yeah,
like he said it like it's matter of fact. Like everybody knows what a mutant is. No, we don't.
Maybe to him, fine, but Shuri being the scientist that she is, why didn't I felt like
that should have registered?
The first time I was hearing about the word mutant in a movie, yes, we heard it in a TV show, but let's be real. A lot of black people probably watch Black Panther, probably didn't even see Miss Marvel, okay? You know what I mean? Or even She-Hulk, maybe, well, yeah. I won't go on that one. But this is a big movie where for a lot of people, it's the first time they're hearing the word mutant. It's the first time they're hearing mutant in the MCU for a lot of people. And they just was like, I'm a mutant. And then it was like a blink you missed, like, wait, what? Huh? What? I missed it. Oh no, he probably said something else because they're talking about something else now. So if you knew nothing about Namor, and you saw him with the winged feet and whatnot and mutants, it should have been a bigger explanation. You know what I mean? A bigger explanation of why he has winged feet, right? If I knew nothing about Namor and I looked at this, I'm like, this is kind of crazy. Like, what am I seeing right?
That's what
I'm seeing right now.
That's what
is this the LSD? This is the LSD or whatever.
I was like, what the hell's happening?
But if you would explain about the mutant part or why, like, I get that she was pregnant. See, and that's the thing too. They changed a lot of the lore about what Namor is. Namor is half human, but I like what they did as far as saying like the origins of the Atlantis of these Atlanteans. Rather than they just existing, they made it realistic in the sense of these guys were human, or I guess they still are human, but but the smallpox basically was killing them off, and they had to ingest this plant that gave them eternal life. I mean, not eternal life, but gave them extra life down in Atlantis, right? So I'm fine with that. Fine, you change that, cool. Actually, I kind of even prefer that, but as far as him in particular, in a sense, I don't know. I don't know how I like the explanation of how he came about, in a sense of like, because she's pregnant. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I still felt like they should have done the whole thing with like the whole Little Mermaid thing, where it's like the mother, down in the water, she falls in love with the human. Now, granted, maybe they didn't want to copy Aquaman.
Yeah, they didn't want to be straight up Aquaman.
But at the same time, it came before Aquaman. All this came before Aquaman. You know what?
It doesn't matter.
Now I think about it. That's probably what they did. They were trying to avoid that, because I noticed even with this spear, he doesn't have a spear. He has a trident.
They can't do that because then they'll be like,
damn it. I'm just not realizing. Yeah. Maybe, they were probably in a tough decision. They were probably like, what can we do that DC didn't already do?
Exactly.
They should have just sued DC and be like, bitch, we did it first. Like,
we did it first. So
maybe that's what it was. I don't know. What do you think about everything I said from that and the mutant thing and everything else?
So I don't truly. I said the same thing with Shuri should have stopped and said, "What the hell is a mutant?" And that should have been the whole conversation. But I don't know enough about his lore and what they did and didn't change. The wing feet just look silly to me, so I didn't know what that was. I'll just let it roll, like whatever. But if that's who he is, that's who he is. So I wasn't too worried about that. the similarities between the Atlanteans, as far as I'm concerned, and the Wakandans when it comes to slavery. In both situations, we have two vibranium infused people, brown people, who see the surface dwellers / white people enslaving other people, but yet they do nothing to stop it. Like, so Namor's thing is like, if the surface dwellers find out that we got vibranium, they're gonna come enslave us like they did my mom's ancestors. But you did not do anything for centuries, as said white people or Europeans were using their ships to go across the ocean to enslave all kinds of brown people, like including black people. Like,
I'll go even deeper. I go even deeper than that. I felt like even when he was, one thing I was kind of disappointed in was when he was talking about his origins. I thought we were going to see like Namor, like the actual Namor of the comics, of why he had, because if you know anything about Namor, you know he cannot stand surface dwellers. Like, you know what I mean? Basically, people who just don't let them see. Okay, because of what they did to his people originally, right? In the sense of like he sees the war that they did. I don't know if they were rushed with this whole making this movie, whatnot, or they just right, because that's the thing. Because Ryan, I think is an incredible director, and even with this, I think he did a good job. But one thing they did not hammer on was why Namor is declaring war on the world so much, right? It wasn't strong enough. It wasn't strong with Killmonger, right? At least with Killmonger, you could see why he was pissed, right? Everything was vengeful of what happened. Like, he wants to get war on Wakanda because of what happened to his father, just left him in the dirt, just like that, right? And that was something as minimal with just one person getting killed. And he's like, oh, now I'm getting, but that was a strong motivation. With Namor, there wasn't much. It was like literally, and like even his mother died. But it wasn't like his mother was shot dead or whatever. See, and that's what happened in the original version. The original thing, his mother was dying because she went to the surface and whatnot, and he hates people above.
Okay.
Like, now, granted, yes, that will fall into the whole typical. Again, we just talked about like the whole Marvel, DC, like the whole like superhero thing. But it is strong motivation. But for a person like Namor, who is all about being an asshole and just being like pissed off at literally everyone, where was that? There was no real motivation, I felt, right? And yeah, and now to your point about the whole like they just let things go, I felt like they were probably just doing this whole thing where they were like, maybe they were minding their own. Well, I would say as far as rewrite is, maybe they could be like, oh, okay, fine, we're minding our own business where everything going on, like you said, with the whole slavery thing, even the whole thing with the Thanos thing, or like, damn, half the people, who knows? Maybe even Namor was one of the people that got snapped away. Who knows, right? But what should have been stronger was, I don't know, just the whole idea of like their world is being threatened. And I don't think it was that strong enough. I thought the actor was great as Namor, but the motivation was not. The motivation wasn't strong with me. You know what I mean? Not as much as it should have been. Does that make any sense?
No, it does. It does. And I think this would have been biting off Aquaman also. But you remember back in Endgame when Cap told Black Widow how the ocean is better now? There's less people, there's less ships. Like the whales are happy or some shit. And then that's when Black Widow was like, are you trying to find the goodness in all this?
Oh yeah.
If he would have been like, that guy, whoever did it, fix my ocean. And we were able to.
It says that's my dude.
That's my dude up there. Like he had the right idea. He had the right idea, but he didn't know how to execute it. Now I got to go up there. But then again, we would be going back to Aquaman 1. But I have to wipe out, like I have to clean up my oceans because you guys are fucking me up. And like it's not just the Earth dwellers. It's not just Wakanda. Because I thought, and then they never came back to the whole thing of there's a tremor under the African continent. Remember that? Because that was supposed to be the introduction to Namor.
Right.
They never tied that together. Like to be like, we've been trying to find a way to reestablish ourselves more into the ocean. But when the people came back, everything got fucked up, and now I need to clear away from my people. Like, we want to expand. Like, that would have been something, and somehow the Wakandans are standing in the way of that. Like, that could have been something. You know, they're running out of vibranium, and they need more vibranium to build this, and that's why Wakanda is the focus of their, like, we need you. Like, either you help us, or we're gonna go to war with you. Like, that could have been something. Like, there's so many things that they could have tied. Also, they never, to the point of not explaining, they never explained why they turned blue when they went up to the surface, or what that mouthpiece thing did, or how they could take hits. Remember, Okoye said, I stabbed like 3 or 4 of them, and they just got right back up, like they could regenerate.
Yeah, that part I didn't understand. The blue thing I was fine with. Actually, I thought that was a great choice, where it was like they're on the water and they're themselves, and then they come out of the surface. I was fine actually with that. That was the thing I thought that was an interesting and creative choice. I actually like that. To your point, as far as like them being strong. Now, granted, a lot of Atlanteans, like, you put them in the water and whatnot, they heal up. Now, especially the one that got stabbed in the stomach, it took me the second time. I was like, all right, maybe it's like this. Now, granted, he stood up and he was still holding up when he's like, all right, now go help
The other one.
Memorial or whatnot.
Yeah.
But, and I don't know if the actor effed up, but he just wound up just walking like he just didn't get stabbed in the stomach, right? But yeah, I was like, the only one that's supposed to be like kind of like that strong is really Namor. Namor is the only one out of all the Atlanteans who is literally that powerful, who can just withstand that whole thing, which I guess we can talk about in critique as far as, and I get, okay, this, I guess you briefly wanted to talk about the whole thing against him and Shuri, but I guess it's the same. I guess you kind of critique that, the whole thing with the first Avengers, where it's like, Captain America, what the hell are you doing stepping in front of Thor and Iron Man right now with your little old shield? How you not dead?
No,
but
that's not what you.
I guess we can go there. But
oh, we going there. We go, like, for all y'all who are upset at Shuri standing up to Namor, Chris and I can be like, you please point your frustration at the Avengers. Captain America, no, fuck that. Iron Man is a dude. Iron Man is a dude in a suit, and he went up against a fucking alien with a alien hammer. Like, he went up against Captain America, who is a super soldier, and he just walked away from that fight. That's that bullshit. Like, that's not how that's supposed to go down. But so, like, it looked just as crazy for them to be like, all right, we're all equals. Now let's go team up. No, you're not. No, you're not. Thor should have killed both of those men. Could be like, I don't know you, and I'm putting you in the ground. Because you try to step.
Now, granted, I will say, at least with this film. So the reason why I say you can't even really, this one I would say did a better job as far as with the fight, because for one, and is true to the comics, where the more he's out of water, the weaker he becomes, to the point where you get him weak enough, he will only be as powerful as maybe as like Captain America, like superhero. But but you put him in water, obviously when he's in water, he will defeat anyone from, well, he could even defeat the Hulk, right? But the reason why, at the end of the day, they always have, like, when him and the Hulk faces off, Hulk still wins, is because Hulk would like bring him out of the water, and then they'll fight a good long, but then the long he gets out, Hulk winds up winning. You know what I mean? But technically speaking, when he's just right out of the water, he might be as powerful as Thor, right? You know what I mean? But he got dried out pretty good, so I can see how Shuri could, get a few good stuff out of him. You know what I mean? So this one was more believable.
It was.
I should say.
Because she was getting her ass straight whooped. I mean, like,
now, if she was in the water, and they're fighting, and then hell no. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that, okay?
They dried him
Chill
out,
out, y'all.
Then they burned him. And then they were going back and forth. Also, and I said this too. I love Marcus. Everybody says this to me. The movie would have been 5 hours if they told all of Namor's story. We're not saying all of Namor's story. Again, the story was fine. I'm talking about that mask. We saw the mask the whole movie. How does that help them? How does that not help them? Shuri being a scientist and she's trying to understand her enemy. She could have broken down in the lab. Between she and Riri, they could have figured out all the strengths and weaknesses, and that would have helped them in the next fights. Like we got to get the mask off them because they too are vulnerable outside of water. Water heals them. Like these are the kind of
so the mask is so I saw it, the mask is supposed to be like similar to, because they have, I don't know if you noticed, but most of them that have the mask on, they have a small thing on their back, and it's kind of similar to a diver going with the oxygen with the oxygen tank, but it's in reverse. Obviously for them it was like recycled water going through them because of vibranium technology. You know what I mean? So
Aquaman.
So yeah, I mean, so because which is why, like, you saw, like, they can take off their masks for a short period of time. They can do that, you know what I mean? Which is why, like, you saw Atume actually doing that towards Shuri.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that they made him, I guess, well, they did have to do with M'Baku too, because M'Baku's supposed to be kind of bad, but they made Atume like kind of a good guy. Well, not really. Well, he's not a good guy because he's with Namor, but Atume turns against. He becomes like actual. Namor is like an anti-hero. Atume, the dude who's like warrior, like to. He's supposed to be bad. He's supposed to be like a villain. Like he tries to rile up against everybody, even Namor. You know what I mean? So
I did not see otherwise. I mean, in fact, I'm thinking he would if he does get his own standalone movie. Like I can see him turn against Namor because Namor sided with the Wakandas. Just like old girl was like, "Hey, I can't."
Namora, yeah.
Namora was like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "No. This is all part of a strategy, and we're gonna work this out." I can see both of them being like, "We need new leadership because this dude is weak now."
True.
So I mean, I and maybe that's what they're setting up. In 2027, whenever he gets his own movie.
Because I think that would be dope. See, especially because I saw when this movie got released, like they were talking about how the big covers they had that in Latin America, like apparently like from Telemundo to everything. This was a big, like, it kind of made me happy because it kind of reminded me of when Black Panther got introduced in Civil War, as well as when Shang-Chi came out. This is like the folks in Latin America, they were so happy, especially folks in Mexico. They were like, they were like, yes, like we're here. We're here now, representation. I mean, next year you might have some kids like kind of maybe dress well, it might be a little cold in October, but they might, for Halloween, they might be dressing up as that. I think that's super dope. So I hope they don't just like only just have Namor and that's it. Like I want to see a standalone film with these guys, you know what I mean, and not just have them being featured. That kind of I thought Ryan did a beautiful job creating this universe, this underwater universe with people of like Mexican descent, even to the point of casting. They made sure the people they casted was literally only from Mexico and was it El Salvador or something like that?
Really?
So yeah. It was very particular as far as the casting goes. All right. So I was like, that's super
legit
dope that they
did
legit.
That.
That's legit. So for Latin America, I think this is huge, and I feel like it will be a waste if they don't do something with it. So
Disney Plus,
they just need to flesh it out. They just need to flesh it out.
That's the best they're gonna get. That's the best they're gonna get. They ain't getting no movie, man.
Stop.
They get Disney Plus.
I don't want to hear that.
They get Disney Plus.
I feel like that's disrespectful, but I hear you. I hear you.
Because the Dora Milaje was supposed to get their own show.
Yeah, but they already had 2 movies now based off Black Panther.
I'm just saying they had 2 movies, and
the representation was already there though in movies though. The representation was already in like they weren't featured. You could say they were featured in Civil War, but then they had them. Black Panther was in the movie of Black Panther in the sequel.
Yeah.
And now you're saying these guys will just be featured, and then now they're going to go to Disney Plus.
It's good. I would say.
All right. To be honest with you, knowing Disney, they might do that. I hope they just don't. I hope that's just kind of disrespectful. But I can see them doing that. I just don't want to think about that though.
We gotta get this shit moving, babe. But anyway, so okay, so okay, I gotta say.
Wait. Speaking of which, you think James Cameron's going to sue? No. James Cameron's probably like, damn it, I'm gonna have to wait another year to release this thing.
It's all Disney. So it's still winning. Disney's still winning. It's like, I know
is.
Yep.
Yo, you just blew my mind. I forgot they're both Disney.
They're both Disney.
Why they let them come out within months? Like a month. It comes out next month.
He's still making money. They don't give a
Literally,
fuck.
the trailer. You saw the there was a trailer of it right
I
before
was like,
of blue people
it's
with
like,
whales.
is that Namor? Is that his origin story? No, that's Avatar.
There was somebody behind me. There was somebody behind me. I was like, what the? I was like, what? What's like this Avatar people, man? Like somebody was asking that.
I was like,
and I was just like, damn.
That's how they
And you
make money.
can't blame Marvel because, to be honest, that came. I mean, they were blue way before James Cameron had that thinking about it. So, speaking of which, the girl that got excommunicated, that basically got stripped. What's her name? Michonne.
Oh yeah.
Yo, the whole crowd like, ooh, when Atume put down her like when she put down a spear,
yeah,
he had her run like right face first. The entire crowd was like, ooh,
that shit. That was painful.
How was she not knocked out? Like knocked the hell out.
Nakia, she killed it. She killed it. When Ramona took her everything from her, dude, I felt that, dude. She was like, this is all I got. Like, why would you do this? But then she had the perfect comeback. She's like, I lost everything, damn. Like, and also again, dialogue. They make no reference to be like Killmonger did this. Also, she was wrong. Also, I wish I would.
Who's wrong?
Like Panther. So Ramona blaming Nakia for standing by Killmonger. Like he stole our right. Like he stole our kingdom. Right. He won fair and square. Okay. He heard the rules. He fought T'Challa. He beat T'Challa. He was the king. He was the rightful king of Wakanda. All right. So I do not want to hear that shit. Him burning up the heart-shaped herb, that should not have been fixed. It was Okoye who fixed, who at least kept one, but he won fair and square. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's a grieving. It's a grieving mother. I expected nothing less of hearing a grieving mother say something like that. You know what I mean? But you're right. Technically speaking, like, because I rewatched the first movie, and she was all about honoring the throne and Wakanda tradition. And so technically speaking, even when everyone else was like, we gotta go, let's go. And it's like no, like it's like I'm here. It's like I don't honor the man, I honor the throne.
Yeah.
And there was a huge honor to it. But at the same time, if you were the queen's position, you probably would have said the same thing. So I get it.
Of course.
I get it. So yeah, but you're right. She was wrong, but not so wrong that she should not be nominated for an Academy.
No, she definitely should be nominated. Definitely. No. And also, but again, tying stuff together, she made no mention of something to the effect of, you couldn't even keep my son safe when the aliens came. Like, she went through the events, like both your son and your daughter got put into 2 intergalactic wars, and she was not even there. So to be like you couldn't keep my family safe, my daughter and my son were gone for 5 years, like all that stuff she could like blame on her, and at least would acknowledge that this stuff happened. That like this is after Endgame, this is after Infinity War. Like to connect it would have been good.
I just thought about something else that was kind of utter bullshit, but oh my God.
Right.
And I remember watching, I was like, I hope I don't forget it. I'm glad I just now remembered. Namor was talking to Shuri when they were in the cave, right?
Okay.
And he's explaining, hey, yeah, you can't go down to the thing unless your bones are breaking. He said, but we got a suit. How does nigga got suits? You just said she's the first person, you are so protective of this land. Why would you even have suits to begin with?
So
what sense did it make that you even had a suit available?
Wait, no. He took, that's the suit that the people he killed were wearing. That's what he killed. Why would he? Okay. That's what he got it from.
Thank God, because
that's what he got it from.
Shit. Okay,
that's what he got it from.
You're right. I apologize, y'all. Okay, there you go. Never mind. All right.
So like he was like, hey, jump in this suit because I know it works. I killed the people who were in there last.
No, I thought he just had it on standby.
Oh no. Yeah, that would make no damn sense.
I forgot about that.
So anyway,
I completely forgot about that.
Let's get to the fight. What do you think? What do you think?
Oh, yo, hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta go back to Angela Bassett. Bruh. How old is she?
60s.
Bruh. Yo, black don't freaking crack, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yo, bruh, and she was working out. I'm like, okay.
That's what's love got to do with it. Don't sleep. When she did Tina
Yo,
Turner,
yo,
when she did Tina Turner, I was like guns.
Yeah.
Ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to throw that in there because
so they showed the Avatar preview before the movie started. Yeah. Because it's all Disney. It's all Disney. They showed the Avatar preview. They showed the Ant-Man preview. I was like, nobody gets fucked by Ant-Man after this. But they showed that movie. I was like, at least that's connected to the MCU. They're like, hey, we got Kang the Conqueror in this movie.
right.
There was no mention of Kang the Conqueror. I was upset.
No, so you know what? I don't. So I was okay with it because apparently, like literally, this movie, I guess, especially when they threw the old script was. So what Kevin Feige said was a lot of stuff that was going to be mentioned. They wound up having to move to Phase 5 because of Chadwick's passing and the respect of this film. And they made this more of like, yes, they were already going to have Namor in the film. That was in the original version, but this one apparently, I guess there's a lot of because there's a lot of rumors like stuff like Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom was like I think I literally thought I was going to see Doctor Doom at the end of the film. I thought we were going to find out that Lake Bell's character, the folks who had the vibrating machine, that they were working for this guy named Victor or something like that, But they were saying a lot of stuff. They were just like, no, we wanted it to be respectful, just like for him in a way. So I was okay for this particular movie in particular to not really have any real big ties to the future of the stuff. Yes, they had the whole thing with Riri, which maybe shouldn't have had happened. And yes, we saw Val Fontaine and whatnot. But I feel like they could have moved all the other references of future stuff or whatnot, and it would have been fine. You know what I mean? I was even to that point that I was kind of even upset that they even introduced the idea of them having Midnight Angels. Yes, Midnight Angels was a thing in the comics with some of the Wakandians donning that outfit and whatnot, but it just didn't need it. I mean, because at that point now we're looking at it looks like Thor. You know what I mean? But luckily there was so much other great stuff about this film, especially Letitia Wright. I didn't know how I was going to feel about her in this movie. You know what I mean? And then I watched. I was like, you know what, I was like, her having to be the lead in this. I was like, all right. Dope. So I'm sorry. What were we? I just stomped over.
No. I do. So I'm saying to her and the fight. I thought in comparison, this fight looked much more realistic than Panther versus Killmonger. There was so much CGI in that fight that it was hard to take it seriously. Like it looked like a cartoon. Like this looked like legit, like physically, like it looked legit. I like that. The fact that she had a spear put through her and she broke that shit and was like, I'm still moving. Yeah. I'm like, this was I felt for her.
And like, what? And according to my fiance, because she's a nurse, she said, because I was like, how? And then she said, no, it's like you watch it. It's like, no, she got stabbed over here. No, there's no real there's no major organs on that side. The stomach is on this side. So and I looked down, sure enough, I was like, all right, good catch, babe. Good catch. So, because I was thinking like, because she got stabbed similar to Killmonger in a similar fashion.
Yeah.
But Killmonger was more like up here and whatnot too. But I thought that was kind of interesting that they had her, because she was inviting the anger and the vengeance of Killmonger to consume her. She got stabbed right there, but then you noticed that I guess in her mind, maybe she didn't want to go out the same way as Killmonger, so she just, like you said, broke it and just got out, and then it transitioned to her mother. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yes,
and that kind of reminded me of Spider-Man in fighting Green Goblin.
Yep,
Green Goblin, like to be like all that anger. He's like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker, right? But she didn't have two other Spider people there to be like, it's all right. She had to work through that shit. But it wasn't just straight but she had to outthink him. Like she was like, she used the technology, which makes sense. So I thought that was awesome. And then her final, and then she gets back up with Nakia, and she finally does the burial tradition to burn the garments to kind of remember her brother was touching. Rihanna's song was touching.
I thought it was good.
What do you think? What do you think? Introduction of little T'Challa.
You know what? Before I forget, because I'm a big UFC fan. Shout out to Kamaru Usman. I heard that Kamaru Usman was going to make an appearance in this movie. You know, Nigerian born, raised in the U.S. He had a side character. He was basically he was one of the warriors. I guess when M'Baku came in, when they had the council, and that one warrior says like, "Oh, look at you," or whatever. That was him. I was like, all right, you gotta do, you gotta work on his acting a little bit, whatever. But it was so great to see him.
He was there.
Matter of fact, he popped up as a different character at the end during the ceremony when M'Baku pretended like he was going to challenge to become the black, like for challenge. So, go ahead. I just reminded you of something.
Yeah. So was that all bullshit?
That? At least it took me the second watching where I was just like, yeah.
So Shuri is Queen and Black Panther.
Well, she's not Queen yet. But yeah, I mean,
I thought she was gonna do. Still to Thor to be like, look, like I don't want to be a ruler, like especially when everybody had to go to the Jabari tribe for safety, and he kind of like did that for her to be like, this is your thing. I never wanted to be ruler. I'll protect my kingdom. That should have been a real situation, or shouldn't have been in the movie. That's what I'm saying. Like it should have been like we talked about it. Like I gotta handle my family stuff. You run this kingdom, and I will protect it. But I can't do both, and I don't want to. Like that would have been something. That would have been a much better scene because it was too much comic relief at that point. I mean, it was funny, but it kind of took away from the original scene when we saw it with T'Challa, which was awesome. So like that's why I was kind of upset with that.
Okay. But to answer your question, I'm sorry. I kind of went the other way. You were asking me about Lil T'Challa. I was good with that. Not only was I really good with it, but it allowed. I thought that was great in the sense of honoring who T'Challa was and having that legacy still there. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, Shuri. I'm trying to remember Shuri ever really gets married or whatnot. But that line just still continues on. And now the kid, not only it allows a couple things. Not only does a kid has his name, because I think in the comics, doesn't T'Challa's father is T'Challa as well? Isn't it? Isn't that how it was?
T'Chaka.
No, in the comics, right? In the comic.
More
wasn't his father also? But anyway, but when I saw that, I was thinking like, damn, I was like, all right, well, it allows a couple things. It allows him to eventually maybe become the future king as well. And maybe his auntie passes on to him. And I don't know how they would do it. Maybe he would need to go to space or whatever to speed up his age or whatnot or whatnot. But I was thinking, I was like, damn, now if T'Challa is around, now we got another T'Challa, maybe eventually if he gets aged up, maybe to this other white-haired girl from Africa named Storm, goes by the name Storm. And then that whole thing. All right. Because the whole thing, because remember how pissed people were like, no, we're Storm. But then again, Disney did not have access to Fox characters. So they had to use Lupita's character.
That's a good point.
Now they have it. It allows them, maybe Storm will probably be the same. Maybe when we get introduced to the X-Men, Storm will be like this young person and whatnot, and then so however, you know what I Randy, this is gonna be really fucked up. I thought about, and I kind of thought about you when I saw Little T'Challa. I was thinking damn, here we go again. Another movie that shows a little black boy with no daddy.
Damn it! I said that shit, Chris. I said that shit. I was like, God damn it! Why can't
damn Hollywood? A single black mother.
Damn it! I was like, why can't he have a daddy? Damn it!
Why can't none of you black kids got?
Why
daddies?
can't black kids have daddies?
Bruh.
Think about it. T'Challa had no daddy. Killmonger had no daddy. T'Challa
T'Challa didn't have a daddy. He was an adult. He was an adult though. His daddy died when he was an adult. So I don't know. So you can't count him.
All right. Killmonger and T'Challa Jr. ain't got no daddy.
Yep.
All right. I was like, damn it. Like statistics.
Is that something?
I love my only problem with it I got misty eyed when I saw the little boy because I knew as soon as she was like, oh, I want to introduce you to somebody. I'm like, motherfucker. Yeah. I was like, of course they did.
Yeah.
He should have came to the funeral. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Like they don't know. You don't know who he is. But but Nakia brings groups of kids just because he's the king, right? Everybody knows him, right? Maybe he's playing around, like people see him. So he's somebody. Again, the funeral matters. The funeral matters. And at the end of it.
But then you know what though? But here's a problem. Here's the problem that you would have if you. I agree. Part of me wish he was there too. But then the conundrum that you'll run into is you have him in the funeral. He's just in the background, and that's it. Now people, I would have the issue of saying this first time the kid sees well, not the first time. I mean, obviously he visited him in Haiti or whatever, but his father is dead. He don't touch, like just like Shuri was on the casket and that just the boy doesn't touch the cat. You know what I mean? It's just in the background. So that would have been an issue. I think that would have turned into an issue, maybe. I think that would have been an issue for folks because people like, that's his dear daddy, and he's the future heir, and he's all the way in the back. I think that would have became a thing.
But again,
you know what I'm saying?
if she would have been like these kids, not just him, these kids who looked up to him, is it okay if they're kind of apart? Like she's like their past to be close to it, so they're all kind of emotional. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but she even though she had that one particular kid though is dead. You know what I'm saying? And then people will be like, "Oh, she's a horrible mother." Like,
well, she already be saying that because where the fuck who's taking care of the baby when she's sitting up there trying to save the world? Because I'm like, you a mama, you a mama, right? So why were you running around in the bottom of the ocean trying to save this kid's auntie, and you fighting on this top of this ship? Who's taking care of your baby?
At that point, he's 6 years old. Okay, at 6 years old, I was able to at that point.
You had a full-time job.
I could. Yep, I had a full-time job. I was paying bills.
It don't make
sense.
I
was investing.
It doesn't make sense. I'm like, where you should be like, I'm not risking my life because I only got one son, your grandson, and that's what's not gonna. And then she said, well, don't worry, mama knew. That doesn't make sense. If grandma knew, she wouldn't have put her.
No. You know what? I thought that too the first time. Watch it. Okay, so you're gonna see them when you watch it the third time. But I saw this the second time because I was like, wait a minute, because mother didn't know who the kid was, right? He says, has mother met the kid? And then she say, yes, she's met him. I think that's the word she used. It was like, yes, she has met him.
So she don't know.
And
but
technically, she met him. She just didn't know.
All right.
So she didn't lie. Same time, damn, that's kind of messed up. Like that's her grandson, and she didn't realize it.
Gotcha.
Because to your point, because I think where you're probably trying to go with it was, if she knew about it, then why would she ask Lupita about all these questions about where were you at the funeral? Right. You know what I mean? If there was already a conversation with T'Challa saying not to, you know what I'm saying?
And why would you put baby mama in
danger?
She
didn't know. I don't think she knew this.
All right.
Yeah. Watch again. You'll see. They were, same time I was like, damn, she died not realizing she had a grandson.
You know what I'm saying? Because she said all my family is gone, which is the opposite of I got a grandson. That's the opposite of what her just screaming out to all these people. So our friends and I, we argued like that, like right outside the theater, actually. And we came up with Ryan Coogler just wrote that shit in, and like because they're trying to get the story going to answer some of these questions. Lupita Wright wasn't it for me. She didn't do it for me. Sorry, yeah, Lupita Wright, but Lupita's on it. I disagree. She did. I thought she did well. I mean, she
did good too. I liked her character for it. I liked it. I thought she did better in this. I mean, as far as what she brought to it, more than in the first film. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But she had to though. She was the movie. Like and she was a sidekick at best. In the first one. So I mean, to transition to the center of to the movie, that's the awesome thing. So now we get into these little silly plot holes. Okay, I don't understand this, but why is it no one can figure out vibranium bullets? Like you got phasers, you got swords and stabbing shit. You know what would stop anyone? Vibranium bullets. Like
but did you remember in the first film? Again, rewatching it. How do you say the name?
Dora Milaje.
The Milaje. They when they were being shot at by Klaus Force, it says He says guns, how primitive. Whatnot. They don't mess with stuff like that, right? That's why even when the one was using the spears, they were like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Like, no, we use the spears. We don't. So
the Dora Milaje don't.
And they're going with the whole African tradition of just like you see what I'm saying?
Or
the hunter gatherer thing.
Or you can win a fight. Or you can win a fight. Like I'm like this.
You know what? To your point, which is why Shuri doesn't always belong. Like Shuri is always an outsider because her stuff, she does use like the hand cannon. But you notice she's the only one. Even in the first film, she was the only one using the hand cannons. Everyone else was like throwing stuff, like throwing like a blade.
Didn't Ramona tell Shuri she had something? She did. I have something to tell you before Namor came.
Oh,
she did. But
I forgot about that.
She did.
You think so?
It just
you think again, it was that
her utter pain of like when Shuri was gone. It don't make sense that she would be okay with her grandson, her only grandson, like not being there at the funeral. She's not. That doesn't make any sense. Like she would have had him there and make sure protected at all costs. Like she would have had a whole Wakanda team on him. Like so, I can't. But you're right. We don't know what they wanted to tell.
And if you look at her face when the Queen showed up in Haiti, it was utter shock. Like, whoa, what are you doing here? Like, it was so like you could tell it's been a long time. She's seen it. The way she was scared, she was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and she was like, hey, so how's it going?
Yeah, that wasn't like someone who. That wasn't the face of your mother-in-law visiting from time to time. That's not what that was.
That was not pre-coordinated. That was like, I'm coming to see you and my grandson. Like that was none of that. There was none of that.
Nope.
Real quick, again, plot holes. Like the ship, the big mother Wakanda ship, right? I get it. They were trying to lure the Atlanteans to them, right? But once you capture Namor, that thing should have lifted up and flew away because you don't do is stay in the ocean with people who fight in the ocean. Like that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like I'm like
tactically military. I mean, when it comes to like tactics, that's not the that ain't the smartest.
That's not smart. Like you should be like this thing.
But it had me even concerned. I was thinking like even what Bassett's character said in the beginning, saying like it's like let this be like any more what do you call it
any more attacks on our
any more invasions
as
seen as an aggressor.
UN speech.
But the whole time I was saying that, as much as they kept using that damn like flying ship, that one ship. Now, granted, they had other little flying stuff, but they used that ship a lot. That was like Enterprise up in that bitch.
Yeah,
right? That did everything from like sending everybody to different locations to rescuing people and putting folks in Jabari to even the funeral to the casket.
That was the Falcons in Lord of the Rings.
I was thinking like, yo, if you go, I was thinking like, yo, I'm sorry, but you have like, if you have like U.S. like the U.S. military or even like the access, like, yo, y'all, I mean, y'all technology good and all, but we got drones up in this beat, you know what I mean? And I
was not also
yeah. Speaking of drones,
that was silly. That was unnecessary. Again, I felt like they were going for Infinity War when like Spider-Man was going up or Iron Man, like they were going up too high. They were going up too high, and they lost air and she fell. I was like, I've seen this twice, like in a Marvel movie, and especially in the Iron Man suit, right? So I've seen both of these.
Another thing I loved, and it had to deal with M'Baku was when she did become Black Panther. I don't know why I thought it was so tough, but like when she went down and he just like they just staring at each other, and he just did like the whole that I thought was such an amazing. I thought that was a great touch. Yeah. Like he went forward and he was like basically like it was like an initiation, just more of like let's see how tough you really if you truly are the Black Panther. And then when he was losing, he was like, yeah. I was like, okay. I was like, yo, that deserves a clap. You know,
that whole scene, her falling from that whole scene was awesome. Also, it was the superhero landing, which she did.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, poser.
I was like, but to see like the council and everyone rally around her was awesome. I was like, she really took charge. I thought she is very, very small though, as a person, right? So to see her in her when she's like standing sideways, like she is like this big, like it's just hard to take it seriously. Like you're gonna fight anybody, but you're gonna fight Namor, who's like at least twice your size, like easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what made it. I can see people being like, it didn't look realistic. Like if it wasn't for the Black Panther power, I'm like, you would have been murdered, like because you're like this big. Oh,
yeah. I like the fact that she did not want to be Black Panther. I just love the fact that she just kept trying to avoid every time her mother brought it up. She just was like, no, like she just didn't, you know.
Yeah.
To me, that was the strongest of this movie was her. I don't know. It's just like more of like she's being forced in a situation that she's never wanted to be in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's great storytelling, in my opinion. You know what I mean? As far as story wise, they did a good job with the story. Obviously, a lot of stuff should have been fleshed out. There's certain, like I told you about those two things with, unfortunately, with Riri, as much as I like the actress playing Riri, they could have kept that out. They could have kept out the whole thing with, and I like the whole thing with Agent Ross and whatnot, but they could have kept that stuff out, but fleshed more in detail with other stuff, especially with Namor and his people, and still made it flow correctly or whatnot. But overall, I thought the story was great, especially with what they had to deal with. You know what I mean? With the passing of Chadwick. It was I thought this is, and that's why at first when I sat through the credits, I was thinking, I'm like, damn, is there gonna be a second post credit? And in my head, I was thinking like, yo, I hope there's not. I mean, in a way, I was thinking like, how do you beat something like that? And then it was nothing. Yeah. I was like, you know what? That's how it should have been. Because I know some people walk up, they're like, oh man, there was another one. And I was like, you know what? For what this movie was, it should have just been that. It shouldn't have been like, look out for Doom or look out for Kang or whatever. It should have just been kind of more like, the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? That was appropriate. That was appropriate, just kind of keeping it to just the kid. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was it. So, but
anything else?
No, like I said, overall, I really enjoyed it. Other than the nitpicking things or whatnot with it, there's certain things I think they should have worked out. But overall, I thought it was a really really good film. Rest in peace to Chadwick. But one other thing I gotta say, another thing dealing with another passing we just had today. Kevin Conroy here, RIP, 66 years old. I grew up, as much as I make fun of, keep talking crap about Batman, I did grow up listening to this man behind me voice like the iconic Batman. He was featured even in as an alternate Batman, as in the Arrowverse.
Yeah,
CW. So rest in peace, Kevin. The Batman that got a lot of people to love Batman even to this day. So yeah, that's all I gotta say.
All right. Well, thank you everybody much for joining us in the chat, hanging out with us. It was a great movie. I thought by far the best MCU Phase 4 movie, but without hesitation.
Absolutely.
Wasn't
a lot of competition, unfortunately, though.
Yeah, nah, not really. like it was bad. Phase 4 was shit. I mean to be,
I don't know.
Real.
Let's see. Phase 5 could start off on a great track with
Ant-Man. Stop it.
Stop it. Yo, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, You Shrunk the Kids might be good.
Stop it.
No.
Stop. I was like,
Lee Majors? No.
All
right.
No. Like even counting the TV shows, I'm gonna say Shang-Chi and Wakanda Forever are the best Phase 4 properties they brought to the table, I would say. And overall,
right. I forgot Shang-Chi started it. That's right. I forgot Shang-Chi was the first one, Phase 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Rush Hour meets Never Ending Story. Yep. I was like, loved it. And I would say probably one of the best movies of 2022. Easy. I mean, Angela Bassett herself just made this movie. Yes, it was very entertaining. It made sense that Black Adam was released 3 weeks before. I was like, but yeah, Black Adam was like, we gotta get out the way of this movie. But Black Adam was pretty up there compared to the other DC movies. Definitely a movie worth watching. Again, I saw it twice in the theater. I'm probably gonna see it a couple more times with some other friends. And I look forward to seeing it again. I think despite all the rewrites and the COVID vaccine bullshit that she put this movie through, Letitia Wright like really brought it. I'm interested.
Yeah, didn't she break her arm too? Didn't she break her arm at one point?
She did.
Yeah.
Because again, she's this big. Like she is this big. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, she all the bullshit like she put this movie through. It was good. I don't know what exactly the rewrites were, reshoots were. There's a lot of reshoots up to like the last minute. But right. it was well done. It was well done. Right. And I do look forward to see what Phase 5 brings. And next time we see the Wakandans. So anyway, thank you. If you have subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We got stuff coming up this weekend, so you'll see our shining faces again. We got Gangs of London, Reasonable Doubt, The Watcher for some damn reason. Let the Right One In. Fuck.
Y'all want to stay tuned for The Watcher. Trust me, because I feel like me and David, we're gonna because I'm gonna tell you, usually when David shits on a movie, I usually have an opposite reaction. Oh, this is horrible. This is like Batman and Joker actually teaming up. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem. We'll have a problem right here.
Damn it! Like Kim, fuck. Jamani, they're about to get fucked up because there ain't no way in the world they're gonna defend this to us. There's no way in the world. There's no. I was like, no, stop it. It's all gonna be stop it. That's gonna be the hashtag stop it because this is that bullshit. This is that bullshit. I was like, what? I was like, anyway, we got plenty of things coming up for you guys. Chris, I'll see you tomorrow.